Hey gang, it's JC and this is the Daily Dose for Monday, March 21st, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. We have archives at the top of the page. Great eye candy today. I'll tell you about it here in just a couple of minutes. I managed to pick up some sort of bug over the weekend, but I'm still doing better than our buddy Smash, who came into the studio on Friday to do his usual 11 o'clock carousel of co-hosts bit. And I looked at him and listened to him and I said, Smash, you got to get out of here, man. You got the flu or something. Something's terrible. He's mopping his head and, sweating and all this sort of stuff. His voice sounded terrible. And he ended up going into the hospital on Friday and he's still there. We're hearing that Smash might get out Tuesday night, but can't mess around with that stuff. Smash got a little pneumonia going on in addition to the flu. I don't know, sometimes you think of like March and as we get into April as the end of that sort of cold and flu winter season. But man, some of the worst sicknesses I have ever had. I had the flu about 4 years ago in April, and it was one of the worst flus I've ever had. So watch that stuff, wash your hands and all that sort of business. All right, back in the mid-1980s, there was a relief pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals by the name of Jeff Lottie. Great guy, lights out type of guy. And he had a lovely wife by the name of Jennifer. And Jennifer Lottie used to be on the air with us all the time. She'd sit in with us on the old KSHE Morning Zoo. I mention all of this because you just never know what your kids are going to do. Tiger Woods has a new girlfriend, and it is the daughter of Jeff and Jennifer Lottie. Now, she is some sort of LPGA aspiring golfer. She met Tiger Woods. They've been together now for a couple of months. She's 22, he's 35. Wow. A new poll shows that more people would vote for Charlie Sheen than Sarah Palin. That's a tough call because on one hand, you've got a ranting, mentally unbalanced lunatic who's completely out of touch with reality, and on the other hand, you got Charlie Sheen. So, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right. By the way, we're hearing a little bit more about what his live shows are going to be, and it just sounds like a train wreck. It sounds ridiculous. He's basically going to go out there and talk. There's no script. Every show is going to be different. He's just going to go up there and be nuts. Basically, you're going to basically get an hour and 10-minute version of what you've seen on the internet and on some of the interview shows and everything like that. He's going to get $7 million by the end of the tour, but just keep in mind that's what he used to make for 3.5 episodes of 2.5 Men. So, but he's got to have some walking around money, right? All right, Billy Crystal hosted the Oscars 8 times, and there is now talk that he might possibly come back. So hurry, wake your grandmother and tell her the news. And the recession may be approaching over. All I know is that people are wasting a fortune on dumb stuff again. According to the latest numbers, there was a big increase in male plastic surgery last year, with 3 procedures posting the biggest gains. They are male facelifts, ear reshapings, and calf implants. Overall, the most popular plastic surgery for men, nose jobs, followed by eyelid surgery, liposuction, moob reductions, that would be those male boobs, and also hair transplants. Women still accounted for 91% of all the elective cosmetic surgeries in this country in 2010. All right, Friday we did an address to the nation on the Big 550 KTRS, and right here I told you that I would have an extensive commentary given the fact that this week marks the first official full week that I have been free and clear from any contractual obligations from my former employer. And to be honest with you, I don't want to get into some big fight with these guys, but I have been legally restricted from saying anything up until now. And the only thing I want to tell you is that a year and a half when they pulled the plug on the show, there were some things said that just were flat out not true. John Beck, the general manager of KSHE and K-Hits and the, let's see, what is it, The Point, and what's their fourth? Oh, and they have a talk station too. And he basically went on TV and in front of the papers and said that my ratings were no good. And nothing could be further from the truth. It was just a flat-out lie. As a matter of fact, I mean, when you start throwing numbers around, nobody really cares. But we were in 3rd place in May of 2009. We were responsible for almost all the web traffic on the radio station website, getting almost 500,000 hits a month, and that dropped to 56,000 after I left. So don't, and the thing about it is I'm upset that they would misrepresent my record because I gave them an honest day's work for 8 years. We had a lot of fun. I did the best work of my career there for 8 years. and to just sort of try to dirty it up and muddy it up to make it look like the move was an intelligent move to make when you're trying to save money, and that was the real truth. And the president of the company was trying to take the company private, and there was all sorts of battles about stock prices, and they had, whenever you're going to sell something, or if you're going to do one of these big merges or try to take a company private, what you do is, and you know this from like when Bill Laurie owned the St. Louis Blues, and then all of a sudden we didn't have any good players because he was going to sell the team. It's the same thing. You try to shed yourself of all major expenditures so it improves your balance sheet. It makes your company look more profitable. And that's really what they were trying to do. And if they would just have been honest about it, there wouldn't have been any problem and I wouldn't have been upset. But, and shame on the Business Journal and the Post-Dispatch. Just give up on that. And the local TV stations, just give up on them. But the St. Louis Business Journal, to just not even check anything, to not check with me, I could have explained to them that what they were printing, because all they did basically is take the press release that John Beck put out and then reprint it. And the only problem was it was just made up stuff. So it's just, that's the sort of stuff that happens. And then other media sources begin cannibalizing one another's stories. And then like a couple of years later, well, in 2009, this and this and this happened. And it's like, where'd you get that story? Oh, from the Business Journal. Where did they get it? From the press release that But I could give you a whole sorts of... The long and the short of it is the station is not improved in the ratings. As a matter of fact, they're down. Nobody's talking about the radio station. And it was just a shame that, because most general managers of radio stations can only dream of what we gave them every day, which was me, a 25-year market veteran, and a great ensemble of characters, and the U-Man, and Laurie Mack, and Carl, and everybody sort of had their own role. And most general managers would just kill to have something like that on their radio station. And these guys, in an effort to save money, just blew it up. And then they didn't tell the truth about why they were doing it. So, and the thing about it is, why aren't the ratings up? So it didn't work, and nobody got anywhere, and everybody just was very upset when the show was canceled. And, I just laugh when they try to make it sound like I'm like a non-factor in the radio business. And, do you know, the day they pulled the plug on the show a year and a half ago was also the day that the Cardinals announced that Mark McGwire was going to be their hitting coach. And I was still the third story on the 10 o'clock news. So if our show wasn't some sort of big deal, well, then why was that the case? And it even goes back to the old rating system versus the new rating system. It's just that the whole thing is a mess. The radio business has sort of lost its way right now, and they just dismantled everything. And so that's basically the way it goes. And again, radio stations have the option and have the right to do whatever it is they want. It is their radio station. And if they want to do something like kill off a fantastically successful show, well, that's their own business. They own it, and they can do whatever they want with it, regardless of how stupid it might be. So, in closing, you just basically say I've been here almost 27 years, nobody ever lost money putting J.C. Corcoran on their radio station, and that is pretty much the end of that. But don't believe the stuff that you read. We'll put it this way. Okay, so I don't get in trouble for making stuff up. I've never gotten in trouble because I don't make stuff up. I get in trouble for being a little bit too direct, a little too blunt, and maybe sometimes a little bit too honest. But I'd rather have that than all the crappy sugar-coatedness that you get at most of the other radio stations, or all that one-sided political talk. You get what I really think, and I say what I research what I say before I say it. So I get a pretty good idea what I'm talking about before I say something. And if I don't, then I tell you that too. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just guessing here. So, but you got to remember that I'm all over these newspapers, magazines, other radio stations, and especially television stations, when they're trying to get away with something, when they're schmaltzing stuff up, when they're making stuff up, and when they're not really being honest about what it is that they're doing. And so what happens when they see an opportunity to come after me and to try and discredit me, they jump all over it, okay? Now, they're not supposed to do that because they're supposed to be journalists, and you're supposed to tell the truth, and you're supposed to be objective, but they're also people, all right? So they get mad when they get criticized, and I criticize them all the time. So if they see an opportunity to come after me, they're going to jump all over me. And that's why you get what you get. These attacks on my character have been selective. Okay? They're coming after me. So, just so you know how this business actually works, it's a little depressing when you find out how local television and local media really works, but that is the truth. So, anyhow, yeah, it's just one of those things where 27 years I've been here, and just bear with me on this. I want you to pay particular attention to this, because when I did this on Friday, it seemed to really resonate with people, so I just want to do it one more time. I've never been chased by the police. I've never had a DUI. I've never lost a lawsuit. I've never beat up a 75-year-old man or anybody else for that matter. I don't have any illegitimate children. I'm not some big, fat, gross slob 100 pounds overweight. I've never been involved in a scandal. I've never been involved in anything where I've been stealing anything. I've never been implicated in a bad business deal. I've never been accused of being involved in illegal drugs. I've never solicited the services of a prostitute. I've never had a body end up in my house that the police had to show up and take away. I don't even drink to excess. I don't smoke. I don't gamble. I even have a clean driving record. And right there, I'm doing a cornbread move now. But right there, that puts me ahead of the majority of the broadcasters, athletes, politicians, and celebrities that I've sort of shared the media stage with for the last nearly 3 decades. Okay, am I better than anybody else? No, I'm not saying that. But, you know, make mistakes, lots of them, but I try to correct them. But what I'm saying here is, for all these people who have been sort of dragging my name through the mud for the last many, many years, I'll stand by that record I just read off to you, okay? So, you know, and in terms of the show, people have no trouble understanding that, like, use Dan Dierdorf, for example. Dan Dierdorf, when he was on the football field, you know, he'd rip your eyes out of your head. But when he showered and shaved and put his street clothes on, he was like a normal guy. And people seem to be able to handle that okay, but they just can't seem to get their head around the idea that somebody on the radio could be the same way. I'm a performer. That's why they call it a show. Please remember that. And for people who choose not to remember it and just sort of selectively go after me, or just sort of it's more convenient for them to hate rather than to just recognize what it is I really have been doing in this town for 27 years, I'll be fighting back, okay? So if you're one of those people who complains about everything and, you know, I want him taken off the air. Well, I'm fighting back these days. I'm fighting back hard. So if you're smart, you enjoy a good joke, because we always go for the joke. And if you enjoy a good joke, enjoy the ride. And if you're one of those people who just wants to sort of slow down the Earth's revolution, just shut up and go away. And if you come after me, I'm coming after you, okay? So that's pretty much it. Don't lie about my record. Have a nice day. That's it. JC's Daily Dose is done for today, but we got that picture of Jennifer and Jeff Lottie's daughter on eye candy today. That's right below what you're looking at right now. Tiger Woods' new girlfriend. Oh boy, you never know what your kids are going to do. All right, that's it. JC's Daily Dose for Monday, March 21st, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. And in the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.